Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all come on in. Come on in the room and let me know that you all can hear me. Y'all come on in. Let me know that you could hear me. That you can. I know I'm a little dark. We don't have a ring light this morning. We are out here in these streets making it do what it does on this good Monday morning. But I wanted to make sure that we are intentional in all the things that we do, right? um if it's your first time joining me, thank you so much. I am a little bit out of my element this morning, a little bit out of my my normal scenery, but I thank God that I'm here. I thank God that you're here. I'm April Boyd. I'm a wife, mom, and your self-care strategist, and I am here daily, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, to help you learn how to practice self care in practical ways. Quita Renee here on YouTube. Quita, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Because if y'all saw the way I had this little setup on the steering wheel, you'd be like, how in the world? But I thank God, because if y'all can hear me, I believe it's going to work out just fine, okay? I believe it's going to work out just fine. Good morning, Miss Carolyn. Happy Monday to you. So can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me? Yes, Quita said, yes, ma'am. All right, so we are going to go ahead and roll with it. I was saying at the beginning before we got started, I wanted to make sure that we were being intentional. Like sometimes we can just make up an excuse not to do something when it's really something that can be worked out, right? We can make up the excuse to, well, I can't do this because of this, or this happened, or whatever. But I want us, especially on this week, to be more intentional, to make sure that we are waking, praying, and planning first, right? That we are talking to God first before we do anything else. Putting Him first. That's one of the ways that we are being good to ourselves, is by putting God first. And so I just believe, and I know, and I've grown to understand that if we seek God first, then He'll add all the other things to us, right? Makita's here. Good morning, Makita. That God will add those other things unto us. And what I want us to make sure that we are doing is we're preparing for the things that we've prayed for, right? We've prayed for a whole bunch of things. And now I want us to prepare and get ready for them. And so when God begins to give us, and when He begins to pour out the blessings on us, I don't want us to make those excuses for things that we couldn't do, that we were doing when we were praying and when we were preparing, right? I don't want us to put, and I'm talking to myself, right? Y'all always know this word is first for me, right? And I want, good morning, Kathy. Kathy's here on YouTube. I want us to make sure. I think that it would be a slap in God's face if the things that I've been praying for years and for months, been praying and asking God for and preparing for, that when He began to pour them out, when He began to open doors, when He began to bless, that I would stop doing the things that I was doing while I was preparing, right? I know seasons change and we evolve, but I want to remind you today not to be so quick to put those things that got you to where you were on a back burner, right? Make sure that you are hearing God, okay? Don't, especially don't be so quick to put Him down. Don't be so quick to put your assignment on the back burner after He begins to show you and after He begins to open doors, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. As Quita says, don't do that, okay? All right. So it is time for us to go ahead and wait, pray, and plan. Go ahead and get out your process, plan your process journal, your guide, your blueprint, your strategy for this season to becoming the renewed and refined woman. We are on part two It's a 4-part series in this journal each month, and we are on part 2. We are in the implementation stage. Okay, we are in the implementation stage. We have gone through a whole 7 days because on the weekend, even though we are resting and resetting for the weekend, we still wake, pray, and plan on our own, right? Our days may be a little bit different on the weekend. We may sleep in on Saturday or Sunday, but we still put God first whenever it is that we do get up, right? And so now that we've gone through 7 days, it says now that you've completed your first 7 days, it's time to move to step 2, implementation. Yep. Let's clear the clutter of all old things keeping you stuck. By now, you should have begun seeing some results of your work that you began doing last week. Yep, just in 7 days, if you were consistent. It said, isn't it great to see progress? Writing things down on your get to do list and then the joy of checking it off at the end of the day really motivates you to continue working on yourself. Is that does anybody feel that way? Has anybody seen any progress from your consistency the last 7 days? It says taking your well deserved daily me moments gives you the pause that you need to decompress. Okay. I know that to be so. And so this week, starting today, it is time to work, work, work. Out with the old, in with the new. We are not waiting until January to start over. We have the ability, we have the joy of starting over and implementing every single month if we have to, right? If something isn't working, if something isn't going the way that we had thought that it was going to go, if you just know that this ain't, no, this ain't it, why wait till January to start over? Why wait? We can start over every day if need be, right? If we know, if we heard God and he was like, that ain't it. This ain't what it is. This ain't what I called you to. You're more than that. Start over today, honey. Okay? Start over. You don't have to wait. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay in that place. Good morning, Shell. You don't have to stay in that place doing the same old thing if you know that it's not working. Okay? You have permission to reset. You have permission to start over. Okay. And so our focus scripture for today is Mark 11:24, and we're actually reading from the Passion Translation today. A lot of times a lot of our scriptures are in the Message Bible, but today we're reading from the the Passion Translation, the TPT, okay? And it's Mark 11:24, and it says, this is the reason I urge you to boldly believe for whatever you ask for in prayer. That came up yesterday on our family prayer line. My uncle was talking about some things that he had asked God for and how God came through. And then it reminded me of how I had been praying and asking God for some things and how he came through. And when God does a thing, you know that it was nobody but him. Y'all, that's an amazing feeling. When you know that it was no doing of your own, when you know that it was a nobody but God, NBG, y'all know I like letters, acronyms, whatever you want to call it. I love those, right? So when you know that it was a nobody but God, a NBG moment, that just does something for me. And so it says, this is the reason I urge you to boldly believe for whatever you ask for in prayer. Be convinced that you have received it and it will be yours. And I just want to pause right now really quickly, just to talk about the thing that we were talking about on the prayer line yesterday. This morning, and I sometimes I don't talk about things because I don't want to brag. I don't want to make it seem like, you know, that I'm the only person out here winning, because that's not it at all. Um, and I guess it's to a point too where, girl, you need to talk about the goodness of God. You need to show the people what he is doing. These NBG moments, these nobody but God, other people need to know about this, because God don't play favorites. Although I say I'm his favorite, I'm not his favorite. He doesn't respect me any more than he respects you. He loves us just the same, no matter what it is. And so Many of you know, and a lot of you don't know, the new people that are here. Back in April, I was coming from a class for work at a job that I used to work at. Um, and I totaled my car, right? I was able to walk away with just not carpet burn, with just a seatbelt burn here to my chest. But I was able to get myself together, get out of the car, call for help. And I danced right there on the side of the road. And I told God, thank you. Because it could have been another way. Playing that thing back over in my head, the tractor trailers that were behind me, beside me, coming towards me, the way my car abruptly stopped when I hit that thing in the middle of the road, it was nobody but God. Because y'all, I have no idea where those cars went around me, where that tractor trailer that was behind me, how when I slammed on brakes, I, NBG, nobody but God. But anyway, I totaled my car back in April, and I said, okay, apparently I don't need, because I was that morning at work, me and my supervisor, we were talking about ways that we could become debt free, how we could cut out expenses to become debt free, praying and asking God for a strategy to help us to become debt free, right? And less than 24 hours later, I totaled my car, and glory be to God for in good insurance. That was 20 some $1,000s worth of debt wiped off of our credit report in a week, right? Because insurance paid that car off. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. That's one less thing we got to worry about. And I was like, I don't need a car here in Midland. I'm working from home, doing what I need to do. If I need to go somewhere else and Chris is at work, whatever, I'll just Uber. And I was like, I definitely don't need a luxury car, right? I definitely don't need luxury out here in Midland, Texas. And so went for months without a vehicle, right? And then on Friday morning, and so we made some sacrifices, right? We did maybe go to some things or attend some things, making that sacrifice, right? And so in the morning times, I would walk with the boys to the bus stop. That was a little exercise for me in the morning. It gave me time to pray, for them to listen to prayers, for us to talk. It gave the dog exercise, all that good stuff, right? And so I thank God, because in these 6 months of us doing that, He never let it rain on us. It either rained before we went to the bus stop or after I got back home from the bus stop, but we never had to walk in the rain. And I'm thankful for that. But it's sweater weather. Fall has gotten here, and Christian was beginning. He said on Friday morning, he said, Ma, he said, it's getting cold. You think you can see about getting another car? And I was like, Christian, we good? And I said, well, I tell you what, this was Friday morning. I said, I tell you what, maybe you should say a prayer. Maybe you should talk to God, right? He hears you. Maybe you should pray and ask God um, to see about us getting another car so we won't have to walk to the bus stop. And I knew that we have been working on it during the week, but I wanted to help to grow his faith, right? I wanted him to believe in the power of prayer, right? And so when he got from school Friday, I said, go ahead and change your clothes to get ready for football practice, because before football practice, we need to go over to Odessa and run and pick up the new car. And he was like, what? I was like, well, didn't you pray this morning when you were talking about saying we need a car? I told you to pray. Did you pray? He said, yeah. Well, God has answered, son. He has answered. And I am so thankful. I'm so thankful, because that was definitely a NBG moment. That was a nobody but God. When it don't make sense, okay? When it don't add up on paper, I want to let you know that is a NBG. And so that's my attitude of gratitude this morning. Okay. I need you to go ahead and get that one thing that you're thankful for and tell God, thank you for it this morning, and tell him why. And I'm thankful because He always comes through for us. May not be our time, may not be the way that we want it to, may not be in the package that we wanted, the way we thought that it would be presented to us, but he always comes through. And I am so thankful for that. I am thankful for that moment to be able to encourage my child's faith, right? And letting him know that sometimes things take a while, right? Sometimes all prayers aren't answered immediately, but I wanted to show him that in this particular way, in this particular season, that God did show up and show out almost immediately. So make sure that you write down your attitude of gratitude on this morning. Then next, your mom moment, right? That's it, Quita. I said I won't gonna tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. What the Lord has done for me and mine. And so I encourage you. I encourage you. If you've been feeling like me, if you've been thinking, no, they're gonna think I'm bragging. No, they're gonna think. Forget what them people say. Forget what they think. If God has been good to you, tell somebody else. Encourage somebody else in the things of the Lord. Okay, your mom moment. What are you going to do today to be good to you? And not only today, I need you to write down the things for the rest of the week. If you need to go through in your journal and write down, fill in the rest of the week, write it down. Okay, go ahead and take a moment today during your 30 minutes of mom time, your 30-minute mom moment today. Go ahead over to the next couple of pages and write down those things that you're going to do this week. Okay, go ahead and write them down. If you haven't used some of the things from your box, from those who got your MPB, your mom process box, if you haven't used all of the goodies out of there, go ahead and write those things down, so that you can include them in your self-care this week. Miss Carolyn says, God, I thank you for my strength, my faith, and the progress I have made in the last month. God, I thank you. Miss Carolyn, ain't it something how we can look back now? We can look back over our life, because when we think, but we've been writing these things down, and we're able to look and actually see just how far God has literally brought us from. Right. And that's being intentional of seeing our progress, right? Our progress ain't always gonna be the best. Our progress definitely ain't gonna be perfect, but it's ours. This is our process. We may be in this thing together, in this sisterhood together, in this process of becoming the renewed and refined woman, but all of our process are different, right? And God, He's so faithful, He's so gentle, he's so kind to us, and I'm so thankful. So go ahead and write down your mom moment, what you're gonna do for the rest of this week, and then on your get to do list, those 3 things that you need to do today, those 3 things that you get to do today, write them down. Okay, write them down so we can start off the week being intentional, being about our Father's business, being about our business. Check and see what kind of appointments you have, what kind of appointments the kids have, whether you have PTA this week, whether you've got football practice, soccer, whatever it is. Write those things down so that you can show up, right? So that you don't always be the mom running, flying by the seat of her pants. So you're not always the mom that's showing up late. So you're not the mom that always dropping them off and going to do something else, right? Make sure that we are prioritizing the things. Some things you're going to have to say no to, right? Some things you're just not going to be able to do, and that's okay. But as long as you're prioritizing those things that mean the most, right? Those things that are going to help you be better today than you were yesterday. Those things that are going to help you be better tomorrow. As long as you are prioritizing those things, putting God first and putting yourself higher onto your get to do list, you're going to be okay. Because Dr. Seuss says, those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. Okay? We're setting these boundaries, and the only people that are getting upset about you setting boundaries are the ones that were taking advantage of you when you didn't have any boundaries set. Okay? That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. We're not going to get stuck here because I got to move out this space in a minute. So, okay. Carolyn says, April, thank you for your continued encouragement in the Wake Pray plan. To God be the glory, Miss Carolyn. I am so thankful. I am so thankful that God has entrusted me to do this. He's allowed me to serve you guys in this way. And I am so thankful. And I thank y'all for showing up. I thank y'all for doing the work for yourself. I thank y'all for being part of my process. Okay. I thank y'all for sticking and staying. When y'all see me make mistakes, when y'all see me have to pivot and change up and do things, know that only what we do for Christ will last. That's it. That's all. Only what we do for Christ will last. So go ahead, get those things down. Have your attitude of gratitude, your mom moments. Plan those for the rest of the week and your get to do list for today. And it is time to pray. So go in your prayer place, wherever it is, in your home, in your car, at work, whatever it is, the kitchen table, the while you're cooking, that place that you pray. It's time to do that on this morning. We're Remember, we're praying and covering Mecklenburg Phoenix. We're covering men, we're covering our boys, whether it's your husband, your dad, your brother, your uncle, your friend at work, your high school bestie, whoever that those men in your life are, your pastors. We're praying and covering them, your children, your sons, your nephews. We're covering them on this morning, okay? And then don't forget your own personal prayer list, those personal things that you are praying for. Um, Go ahead and do that. Also, if you ever would like for me to stand in agreement with you, if you ever just need a prayer partner, please don't be afraid. Reach out, inbox me, message me, text me, whatever it is you need to do. Do that. Do that. Okay. Um, and it would be an honor for me to stand in agreement with those things that you're praying for. I just don't stand in agreement blindly. Okay. God is still working on me with the unspoken prayer request. I need to know a little something, right? I ain't gonna be all in your business, but I need to know that we not going to bust the windows out nobody's car. Okay. I just need to know and make sure that that's not what we praying for, right? We not praying against nobody. We not okay. I just need to know that much. All right. But I'm excited and I am thankful. I announced yesterday. Yesterday was the first international subscription day, and what better way to go ahead and release and announce that the subscription box is coming back, and I am so thankful for that. And so if you have not gone over to the website, April and Boyd, go over to that. If you are interested in getting the subscription box, if you are interested in getting goodness shipped to your front door in a little black box every single month, head over to aprilandboyd.com. A pop-up is going to come up. All you have to do is click the link, click send. Everything is already done for you, but that puts you on the list. That lets me know how many boxes I need to prepare for. And I'm being intentional about this as well, because when I ship the boxes out the beginning of December, that is going to be the beginning of our move in California. And I don't want to have a whole bunch of extra stuff, because we will still be in temporary quarters at that time. And so I want to purchase enough for the amount of boxes, for the people who said that they were interested, right? So I'm not purchasing a whole bunch of extra, okay? I'm not purchasing a whole bunch of extra stuff. I'm going to purchase according to those numbers that I have, right? And so as we grow and move on, and after we get into our house and I have space, we'll shift and do some things differently. But I want to make sure that you have your box for the new year. I want to make sure that if you want to give them as Christmas gifts, if you want to give your subscription to you as a Christmas gift to yourself, I want to make sure that you have those boxes before Christmas. But it will be it won't be a Christmas themed box. It'll be our box that's going to help us to begin our new year fresh. Okay. And so that's that. That is that. But it's time to pray. It is time to pray. Go ahead and get to your place, get to your space, set your atmosphere, turn your music on. If you came in the room later, if you caught this on the replay, give me a hashtag RR and let me know that another renewed and refined woman that's in the process was in the building. I love y'all, and we'll see you back here in the morning at 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, it's a process to becoming renewed and refined. Go pray.